Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, Sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you today?
I am good, Inga. How are you?
I'm good, except for the weather and the daylight savings.
Double whammy.
I know. What is going on? It's so cold.
It's so dumb. So dumb. We are truly getting like February weather right now. It is cold.
It's wild too because it snowed, all of the snow, and then I'm at least glad that it got cold. To be honest with you, because I don't like the slushy and the mushy and the wet and the yuck.
Yeah,
I'd rather have it cold and not mucky.
I do have my eldest child is out hunting. I cannot disclose the place because it's super sacred
or something like.
However, Eastern Montana, so that's a big area, right? But last night I had said, you got to at least give me that little area that you're at. So if I ever needed you, and it's like a billion out and the area circumference is like this, right? Anyway, so she gives me the town and says, we're about 30 miles out. And I said, well, at least I know the town.
Right.
Well, so as the nighttime news came on, they were saying that place was going to be negative 25 to negative 35 wind chill.
Oh, the wind chill. Wow, that's bad.
Now that sounds super duper uber fun.
And people pay a lot of money to do it.
I was like, that better be one heck of an ear.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, what we do for our activities, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're out there just killing it. And I just, okay.
Yeah.
Send pictures.
Yeah. Well, speaking of activities, how active are you?
You know, that's a daily thing with me. During the day, we're pretty sedentary because we're at our desk, but you and I both have those desks that we can stand up and sit down. So that's really cool. And then in the office, our offices are upstairs. So there's stairs to do. And I think that's really good. But once 5 o'clock hits, man, we're both at the house and I've got, an hour to an hour and a half, maybe sometimes 2 hours of chores at night. Yep. And that's unrolling hose, rolling hose, just 50-pound sacks of grain, you just
farm mama fitness stuff.
That's right. And so I feel like, I'm just like, how am I getting all my steps in just like 2 hours?
Right.
And then the problem is though, at this time of the year, because you're talking about daylight savings, is it's now dark when we get home. So I feel like it's time to go to bed.
Well, and I haven't been feeling well, so I actually am going to bed. It's terrible. It's so bad. In the summertime, active. As long as it's light outside, I feel like we're outside doing something with the sheep. I might just be petting the goat, whatever. But with the weather and it being darker, it is hard for me to stay motivated.
Oh, yucky. It's hard for sure. I love it when we actually think during the days when it's nicer out to say, oh my gosh, let's take 10 and go take a nice walk real quick. And that's, real refreshing and it makes me feel more active.
Yeah.
But truly, whenever I go for physicals and stuff, they always say, how active are you? And I'm like, well, this is my life. And they're like, well, because you do so much on the farm, we get you.
Right.
You're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's what makes me mad because I should be this thick, big around. And so
all those calories that you're burning out there.
Yeah.
I get it. So my youngest Bailey has actually been doing this hoop fit thing. Have you seen those? It's like the hula hoop that has a ball, like a weighted ball on it. And so you're literally just like hula hooping, but it's exercise. She's been doing that every night. She's like, gotta go do my hoop fit.
Oh, cute.
But it's really cute. But then she showed me yesterday, I think it was, actually like a portable treadmill type thing that you can put at your desk, those stand-up desks like we have.
Oh.
And it's literally a treadmill where you could just stand at your desk and walk.
That.
I know. I was thinking I was watching a video of a girl doing it and I was like, I wonder how many times she like fell off of that thing figuring it out, because I would for sure do that, but I'm willing to give it a try.
Oh, no, forget it. I can't. I just envision head through a computer screen.
Oh, you'll go backwards.
Well, no, not. I'm a little front-centered here.
A little top heavy. Yeah. Gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, I didn't know that they had those.
I didn't know that either, but I'm going to look into it a little further. No. I don't think they're super expensive.
No. Last time I stood on a balancing thing, we talked about that one time. I just about killed myself. So
no, that's a hard task.
And that's also multitasking. How can you possibly walk as you're doing your work?
I don't know, but I bet it adds to the longevity of your life.
Not if you kill yourself. Put your head through the screen.
This is true. Your heart might be like in better shape, but your bones will be broken.
Oh, Lord Almighty. Oh, that is crazy. Yeah. I even struggle sitting there. You know, the little bikey things.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm like, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm typing. I think my limbs and my brain could all do that all at once.
It might. Can you like rub your tummy and pat your head or whatever at the same time?
Oh, look it! I did it!
Yay! Good job.
Whoop,
so
whoop.
you could figure it out.
Oh, I don't want to though.
Faith.
Forget it. Okay, it's way too. It's almost as bad as
I'm
broccoli.
Gonna keep working on you. Broccoli almost killed you. Treadmill for sure will. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we better get on with this show.
Oh my word.
The verse of today. Mm-hmm. This is 3 John, chapter. Where are we here? Chapter 1, verse 2, and it says, "Beloved, I pray that all may go well with you, and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul."
Yes.
Talk to me.
Well, basically, we're talking about health today, and so that's part of health is having that all-around fitness, and that includes your spiritual as well. So, there you go.
I agree. If you have a verse that you'd like to send to us, please do that. You can email it at thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com. I feel like perhaps there's something happening behind me with a naughty cat. Mm-hmm. What's going on back there?
Oh, she's mad about the treadmill too.
Oh, okay. Is that what it is? Okay. Anywho, just let me know if she's going to like launch onto my back or something.
Could happen.
It could. She's unpredictable that way. What did you bring for a good news story today, Julie?
Edna's 101st birthday wishes from her favorite comedian. Oh, Edna.
I love the name Edna.
What a great name. Edna. Oh, gosh. So her favorite comedian is Billy Connolly.
Okay.
And anyway, she had her 100th birthday during the COVID lockdown.
Okay.
So where she lives at this assisted living, the staff appealed to thousands for cards, and they actually sent this comedian, Billy, a personal message. And so anyway, he did do a video to her from where he lived in Florida, and he told his delighted 100-year-old fan, "I'd like to wish you a happy birthday. 101, that's spectacular. Well done."
That is spectacular.
Oh, I got to tell you, though, sometimes when you get some famous person to reach out, it just lifts you so high. Oh, yeah. But this gal, she also got thousands and thousands of cards. Oh. I remember one time where my brother Andrew got this five-time world champion steer wrestler to message my dad.
Oh my gosh.
And it was very cool. He goes, "Hey, Dan, how are you, cowboy?" Oh. It was the sweetest thing. And then what was really cool is then down the line, Andrew ran into him again at some point and asked about Dad and just followed up on it. Oh. But it was so sweet because Dad was all about that rodeo thing, right?
Yeah.
And to have Luke Branquito, I think is how to say his name. I probably just killed it. Anyway, but that was very cool. And that's kind of similar to Edna's story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just something special about that. Mm-hmm. You know, you think that like a happy birthday from your kid or a grandkid or something would be the most important. But if you can get a well-known comedian to tell you that you're spectacular, you've made it.
Wouldn't mind if The Rock told me happy birthday. Yes. Get on that. Would you get on that, would you?
Okay. Got that. Write that down,
Melissa.
And
I've got to start reminding people my birthday's in about 6 months.
Oh, perfect. Yes. Definitely need to get that memo out.
Shopping days are getting close.
Oh, Jules, you cracked me up.
Birthday queen.
Well, mine is not so much. You are a queen. You are. It's not a good news story necessarily, but it's just a little bit of commentary on something that I very much appreciate in our great state of Montana. So, if you are listening to this or know us personally, you know we live in Kalispell, Montana, and we're rural. We're not the ruralist of Montana, but my particular drive home, I do have to go on some country roads, and it's a little ways out of town. So I find it really, I'm very appreciative of the people in Montana because we have this thing called Deer Hill and Contra Corner. And especially as it's starting to get dark, although now it's not dark in the mornings when I'm driving. But anyway, as you approach Deer Hill, you can probably understand that this is like a heavily trafficked area where deer will cross the road. And so it becomes very dangerous, honestly, for the animals and the people driving. Yep. So I love that in Montana, as I'm approaching Deer Hill with oncoming traffic, if there's something that they see, they will just flash their lights to say like, hey, be aware, there's something here. And, nice. And so I do the same. And I have heard, now I can't speak to this personally, but I have heard that in the big cities, you're not supposed to do anything with flashing lights because there are like gang, initiation things that go along with that. So look that up maybe or don't. I don't know. But anyway, I feel safe and I feel confident that when lights get flashed at me on Deer Hill or Contra Corner, that it's for good reasons.
It's a deer gang, not another gang.
It's just somebody being conscientious and helping their neighbor. So I wanted to share that because it's crazy. I mean, that Deer Hill almost daily, something will get schmucked on there and, you know, some worse than others. And that's not good. But anyway, that being said, I wanted to share with you, there's a lady, and this was years ago that this happened. She had a really good idea about deer crossing that she had called into a radio station. So I want to play that for our listeners now in case they haven't yet heard it.
It's so good.
Missing is all that's going on there. Now, Donna, you got quite the vent today. It sounds like what's going on with you.
Well, I wanted to voice my opinion on something that's been bothering me for a really long time.
Okay.
I tried writing the newspaper and contacting TV stations, but nobody seems to want to stay with this. So that's why I'm calling you guys.
What's the issue?
Well, over the past few years, I've been involved in 3 separate car accidents involving deer. You know, with the population and everything. Each of these incidents, they've occurred shortly after I saw a deer crossing sign on the highway. Well, my frustration is that Minnesota and North Dakota Departments of Transportation would allow these deer crossings to be in such high traffic areas. I mean, I've even seen them on the interstate. Why are we encouraging deer to cross at the interstate? I don't get it. That's such a high traffic area. I mean, you know, I understand that deer are wild animals and they need to travel across the streets occasionally to survive, and you know, of course, to find food, but it seems to me that so irresponsible of us to allow these deer crossings to be in areas where these deer are so likely to be struck by oncoming traffic. I mean, wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's just, I mean, you'd think they would put deer crossings maybe, you know, in, you know, smaller towns, maybe during at a school crossing. It would be a safer place for them to cross.
Wait.
You know, put the deer crossing sign.
You know, deer crossings aren't telling deer that it's safe to cross there. It's just more of like an alert for drivers so they know it's like a high deer population.
The government put the deer crossings there. They can direct the deer population anywhere they want to by moving that deer crossing sign. I mean, you know, why in the world would they place it on the highway or the interstate? You know? I mean, God, there are so many other places I can think of than putting the deer crossing signs on busy highways and interstates.
You seem to be under the misunderstanding that the deer are somehow attracted to the deer crossing sign.
Well, yeah, the deer crossing sign is there to allow the deer to know that's where they need to cross.
So you'd like to see these signs move somewhere safer?
Right. If we can move them, like, don't put deer crossing signs on the interstate or freeways. You know, put them in lower traffic areas. You know, somewhere where the speed limit's a lot slower, maybe small towns. I don't know. I think school crossings is a good idea.
Well, listen, we will, you say you've tried to contact quite a few people about this.
Right, yeah. I wrote like at least 3 or 4 letters, and
we will spread the word, okay? We will try to kind of help you.
I bet you will.
Raise some awareness for this issue, okay?
Oh, thank you. We need to move those deer crossing signs.
We appreciate your comment this morning.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
That is wild. Julie's been watching you the whole time. And you're just
holding my head.
Oh, it hurts.
Oh, we went to a conference one time, and this guy said this comment that I just use like every day.
I already know what you're going to say.
Common sense is not common practice.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
I can't even tell if that was real or not.
I know. It couldn't have been real.
Could it be?
Could it be real? I hope
Anywho.
not.
So my good news story is just the appreciation that I have for people that are willing to, alert their oncoming traffic that there might be deer crossing, even without a deer crossing sign.
Oh, my word. That was actually quite hilarious.
Yeah, funny stuff.
Oh, my Lord.
Well, let's get into the topic of our show today. We are going to be talking about activity, how activity may improve longevity.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about the benefits of physical activity, functional flexibility activities, real life benefits of exercise. And then we've got some really awesome stories of super seniors.
Yeah.
That are just, they swear that they're still as fit and able because of the activities they do. And these activities are crazy. Just amazing that at 100 years old, they're doing
Still
these things.
going.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So really, truly, there's a lot of studies that talk about moving and keeping active.
Yep.
Unfortunately, what we see a lot is where people will retire or they've just got chronic pain. And so they just tend to sit and they don't want to get up because it takes a lot and it hurts. But I say this also quite often, use it or lose it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard. And but right now, even with my grandma Patsy, poor grandma, she's my guinea pig here on this show. She's got some problems where they actually were wondering if she had like a compression fracture. And so they're actually saying to her, well, you just need to sit and be quiet. Well, that's what she wanted to hear. But we're like, wait a minute. The more she doesn't get up and at least move occasionally is not going to bring bigger problems down the road. So boy, that's a topic. But
it's interesting. I mean, and like you're saying, a lot of the people that we care for reach a certain point in life, whether it's a disease or like you're saying, that chronic pain, and they don't necessarily want to get up and do anything. But what's so cool about it, and you actually just told me a story about one of our clients, you got a really super good caregiver match in there, and the client loves that caregiver so much, and that caregiver loves to take walks. And so now they're doing that. And this is someone who previous to that didn't want to get up for anything.
yeah.
So it's neat that you were able to do that match and have it work out so well.
Oh, it worked out so well. And it was so cute because he was just like, I love this guy. And he just makes me feel motivated.
Yeah.
And so it's all about, finding that good match. And then sometimes it surprises you how people click.
Yep.
So that's exciting as heck. But we also had clients that we had an older gentleman that retired, and he had been so active his whole life. He had been a logger. So hard work. Well, and in his later 70s, he retired, and then he sat down, and he didn't want to, they were like, let's go golfing, let's do this, let's do that. And he had never done those activities. He had always been so successful and so good at what he did that he didn't want to start fresh on something and look stupid. I mean, literally that's what he told the family.
Yep.
I just won't do it. And so he sat down, and that's where he stayed. And they tried to encourage him. So it's a mindset, and you get to that point wherever you are. Where is your head? And so these are good things to think about prior to getting to your retirement age. Are there activities you need to start looking at? Or do you need to buy cows? Because
then you'll for sure have something to chase every day.
Every day. But really, truly, it's a mindset and we can control that.
Yeah.
But also use it or lose it. And that's a really scary thing to lose it, because then life is harder than it needs to be.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, there's been tons, like I said, of studies on this. And according to a study recently conducted, the functional ability of older people has become better compared to that of older people 3 decades ago. So, and you've heard that we're living longer, right? And so basically the physical and cognitive performance of the elderly between the ages of 75 and 80 was compared to that of the same age group back in the 1990s. And that doesn't seem like a long time ago.
Oh, I know.
Until you do the math. And then you're like, oh, dang.
Yeah, I saw a meme that was like 30 years ago, and you think that, oh, yeah, like in the 70s? No.
I know.
No, it wasn't the 70s 30 years ago.
Oh, my Lord. I about had a conniption the other day when somebody made the comment that my oldest daughter was, next year's her 10-year class reunion.
It's wild.
No.
Say what?
No, it is not. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that they, so these people that did the study said that performance-based measurements describe how older people manage in their daily life, and at the same time, the measurements reflect one's functional age. And have you ever played a game and it says your age is, and when you really stunk at it, you were like 89, and you should be like 30, right?
Right. Yes.
So anyway, the walking speed, reasoning, verbal fluency, working memory, reaction speed, and muscle strength of people between the ages of 75 and 80 nowadays are much better than the people same age born in the 1990s. However, lung function tests they didn't observe. The research revealed that today's older people have lived in a more different world than their counterparts born 3 decades ago. The advancement in technology and science has improved the functional ability of older people. These advancements include improvements in healthcare, at the school system, better nutrition, and improving working life. The result of the study suggested that there is a correlation between increased life expectancy and an increased number of years lived with good functional ability. So that's just kind of the summary of that.
We're getting better these days.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Well, they do say activity may improve longevity. Physical activity is vital for your health, and exercise will help you maintain a healthy weight and prevent chronic diseases ranging from heart disease to diabetes. The physical activity guidelines for Americans is recommended that adults get a minimum of 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate intensity aerobic physical activity each week, or at least half of that amount of vigorous intensity activity.
Yeah, there is really cool programs out there like Silver Sneakers and different places that you can go, and they will just focus strictly on an age group. And they just will focus on the abilities of that person with working on rubber bands or just even sitting and moving your feet, chair stuff and all of that. So every age, there's incredible programs out there, and people actually go and get certified to do those kinds of things. So basically, to understand whether older adults benefit from various types of exercises, they did data from more than 272,000 participants in a national health survey. And that was in the mid-1990s, like I was talking. And then they did it again in like 2005 when they had these same people at an average of 70 years old. The study captured information on health conditions, habits like smoking and alcohol use, socioeconomic status, and diet. Oh, there's that diet thing. Yep. It also recorded participation in 7 different recreational activities: running or jogging, cycling, outdoors or the stationary bike, swimming, and other aerobic exercises such as class or exercise machines, racket sports, golf, and walking.
What's interesting is that, so researchers examined the risk of death during the 12 years of the study, and they compared reductions in that risk provided by different levels and different types of physical activity. And actually, the results were published in August of 2022. So it's crazy to me to think about how much time goes into some of these studies if you're starting back in the mid-90s, right?
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild.
Huh.
But anyway, among older adults who exercised regularly, walking was the most common activity. That was followed by other aerobic exercise, cycling, golf, swimming, running, and racket sports.
Yeah.
Older adults who participated in any combination of those activities, but did not meet the recommendations in the physical activity guidelines, had a 5% lower risk of death during the study than those who were inactive.
Yeah.
So those must have been the people that they exercised some, but not up to that like 2.5 to 5 hours, right?
Right.
So they had a 5% lower. And then the ones that were considered active, and those were the ones that did actually the recommended guidelines, they had a 13% lower risk of death compared to the inactive participants. And participation in racket sports and running were associated with the greatest risk reductions, but all of the activities provided benefit.
Well, I have a problem there.
Yeah.
I was built for comfort, not for speed.
Do you know that's one of the first things you said to me when we met? In Nirata at your racetrack. I couldn't believe it. You were everywhere. I mean, I would see you here and then I would see you like a mile away within seconds, but it seemed so fast to me. But at some point you're like, I'm built for comfort, not for speed, as you're running away. It was great.
It just ticks me off. Every time I have to get past that one certain speed, I'm just like, dang it. I hate it.
Oh gosh. I'm sure it will come as no surprise to people that the risk of death continued to decrease with additional activity beyond the recommended levels. Yeah, so running was associated with the greatest risk reduction for death from cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Racket sports were associated with the greatest risk reduction for death from heart disease. I would imagine, because isn't that like you're like hauling butt to get over here to hit a ball, and then you're, you know what I'm saying?
And
like
they move in the rackets.
yeah. Just like, is that how it goes?
Something like that.
You should be a coach.
I would look more like a ninja. Where's the ball? I don't care.
I wish you could see Alyssa, like the listeners. She's very impressed right now.
As always.
Anywho, they found that all types of recreational activities that get people moving are associated with greater longevity. So most important thing in an inactive older adult can do to improve their health is to find an activity that they enjoy and something that they can stick with.
You know, I was thinking about it. My mom loves to walk. She's very, very diligent. She'll take her dog with her and they just take a nice walk. Your mom dances.
Yep. Line dancing. I think she might be the leader of the line dancers for a couple. She might be teaching the class for a couple of weeks, I think.
Oh, how
She told
fun
me.
is that?
Yes, she loves it so much.
Yeah. I was watching a cartoon last night, but it had dancing in it.
Yes.
And I was thinking about it. It's that river dancing.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, how do those people move their feet like that? And from the waist up, they're not moving.
At all. Yeah.
And I couldn't do it because I'm not built that way, for number one. But I was just like, even in a cartoon, that looks hard.
I don't understand.
I mean, because it's beautiful. I love the music. I love everything. And they just hold their top halves just right. And then it's just like
that's a lot of concentration. It would be like walking on a treadmill and trying to type on your.
Yeah, forget it. It was more like a duck on water.
Yes.
Up on top of the
Yes,
water. You're
smooth
just
sailing.
hanging out, just everything's cool. And underneath your little body's like,
Just go, go, go.
yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
But
I like to
that's
watch it, though.
Got to be a huge, huge, great cardio exercise.
I would think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about functional flexibility activities for older adults.
Okay. So flexibility training is a good way to become from inactive to active. So what is that? What is functional? Functional is just making it all work, getting it functioning, right? Flexibility training may offer a good start towards, like I said, a healthy lifestyle. This type of training may lack the high profile of cardiovascular exercise and strength training, but it can improve range of motion, decrease pain and soreness after exercise, improve posture. Oh, hang on. I must improve my posture.
Yeah.
What is it? And now I can't read. And decrease muscle tension. More importantly, stretching can make the difference in comfort when performing tasks such as putting a shirt or blouse on in the morning or reaching for a cup of tea or coffee. As a result, flexibility can contribute significantly to overall functional fitness, helping older adults safely and effectively accomplish independent activities of daily living. Isn't that the truth? I just can't bend over far enough to put on my socks.
Yeah.
And that's where these exercises just keep you limber.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's true, man. And stretching feels so good, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. Consider that most research studies suggest a combination of flexibility training with other interventions, like balance, core, muscular endurance, and resistance training, along with some form of cardiovascular exercise.
So the core strength.
It's huge.
It's the big deal.
So important.
Keep you centered.
Yep.
Yeah.
So guidelines indicate that a flexibility program should begin with a total of 5 to 10 stretches for the upper and lower body. And although the program might focus on muscles prone to tightness, such as your hamstrings or the back of your thighs, it should concentrate mainly on an individual's physical requirements. And you should be able to do a physical assessment to help you work that out. So what I'm taking from it is that each person is going to be different.
Totally different. Yeah. Because basically you got to do an assessment that says range of motion.
Yep.
We have some people that at the beginning are very, very limited just because of arthritis or a past injury. And then also that proper posture.
Yes.
And biomechanics are important because then we tend to overcompensate or strain to complete a stretch. And isn't that interesting that, you've got to hitching your get-along. So what you do is you walk a little bit different.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden that hurts.
I hitched my get-along when I coughed wrong 2 days ago. And I've been all sorts of off-kilter. But yes, you do overcompensate.
Yeah.
One thing, and then, the rest, I'll be like, why do I hurt over here? This is not, what is going on?
Yeah, it tends to radiate. And everything is all
when you're
attached.
Yeah. When you're using other muscles in place of, yeah.
And then you don't also appreciate a certain appendage or something until it hurts. And then you're like, dang, shoot. We got a guy right now that we're taking care of for just a short amount of time, but he had a rotator cuff surgery and he is on his left arm. And of course he's left-handed dominant. So he's really struggling as he has that in his sling as he's trying to do things with his right hand. So we're just there for, 2 to 3 weeks as he gets closer and closer to his baseline. Because he was totally independent at that time. But because of that, he's just off balance in the whole thing. He really had that first week, he had to even remember how to stand up.
Oh, boy.
Without putting himself at risk. Yeah. And he's only in his early 70s. So it doesn't matter. It can really put you in a bind.
Sometimes just for funsies, I try to do things with my left hand, which is not my dominant hand. And then I remember that I don't like that at all. And so it's not fun at all.
So you quit.
So I quit. Definitely assess your range of motion before you would get into anything specific for yourself. And then they do say that it's wise to stretch slowly and gradually to increase your range of movement, and that bouncing, I'm kind of guilty of that sometimes. Bouncing should be eliminated. Rather, you need to hold the stretch long enough to feel slight discomfort for 15 to 30 seconds while continuing to breathe normally. And each stretch should be repeated at least 3 times. The best results are obtained if performing stretching exercises at least 2 days a week, minimum, and after some type of cardiovascular exercise, as cold muscles are much stiffer and harder to stretch than warm muscles. I had not thought of that, but
yeah. So that what you just talked about, there's a couple things there that came to mind. So a while ago, I remember the dreaded incident of the trampoline. Because trampolines are really, really good exercise, right? They even make the baby ones. Well, you and I got on a big one, and that was tragic in terms of people actually having to watch that.
tragic.
And so also you need to determine your abilities to be on said exercise, whatever that may be. I'm just going to summarize that real quickly and say, people that are built in some similar form as myself shouldn't be bouncing on trampolines. So just that's a word of wisdom to all ya.
And you know how you know that I have you at all times, always?
Yes.
The children videoed it, and I made them delete it.
Yeah.
That's how you know I'm a homie. I'm a real one.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You know,
There's no evidence.
I sure had fun, but nobody else did. But I haven't been on a trampoline since then. So once again, it would have been great exercise, but it's a bad idea. Then the other thing is, as you were reading that, I got to thinking, I went to like TJ Maxx and got myself a box of rubber bands.
Yep.
And they come in soft, medium, and hard.
Okay.
And so, of course, I think I went straight to the hard one because I think that I am pretty with it.
Yeah.
Well, and then so I did my exercises and I'm just like, okay, look at me, range of motion. And I think that's what's problem with my shoulder right now.
Oh.
Because I probably went like this.
Oh. Yeah.
And this, and I wasn't supposed to go that way. But see, I didn't ask anybody. I just thought, ooh, look at these rubber bands. I'm going to fix myself and do these exercises. And I think I hurt myself. So
It's true.
Just don't do it.
Go slow to go fast.
Right.
Don't be a hero, okay? You don't have to go to the hardest of the rubber bands. You got nothing to prove.
And I also had to admit maybe I wasn't quite as in shape as I thought I was. Dang it, I hate that.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Anyway, so that's a word of to the wise as well.
Yeah.
Don't push it.
Don't push it too hard.
Make sure you work yourself into any situations that you get yourself into. So, real life benefits of exercise. Basically, not only is it good physically, but it also helps you mentally and emotionally. Mm-hmm. And so they talk about endorphins and all of that stuff that, man, when you get out and it's sunshine and it's beautiful, it just helps you. And then just the cardiovascular, getting more blood up to the brain and everything, that's huge. Mm-hmm. So that's good. So
staying active can help you with keeping and improving your strength so you can stay independent, having more energy to do the things you want to do and reduce fatigue, improve your balance, and in doing so, reduce your risk of falls.
Oh, so important.
Basically, staying active can help you manage and prevent some diseases like arthritis, heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and actually several types of cancer, including breast and colon cancer.
You know why? The colon? Because activity helps you poop.
That must be what it is.
I don't know about the breast cancer, but the colon, it's got to, you're working that colon more. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
once again, we are not physicians.
We're helps you sleep better.
Yes,
helps you reduce levels of stress and anxiety. Helps you to maintain your healthy weight and reduce risk of excess weight gain, control blood pressure, and possibly improve or maintain some aspects of your cognitive function, such as your ability to shift quickly between tasks or planning an activity, and also just to perk up your mood and reduce feelings of depression. It's kind of true. I mean, when you're doing something, it's hard, if you're out for a walk or whatever, it's just really hard to not be happy.
Well, for example, you're really weird.
Yes, I am too. I resemble that remark.
You like sitting at your desk and crunching numbers.
Yes.
The other day you showed me a spreadsheet and all it did was make me dizzy.
Yes.
I just like, what are you doing? But then also by the end of the day, we both look at each other. We're both cross-eyed with the different projects we're doing. And that's when we know we should stop and take a break, take a 10-minute walk. Or just get away from your desk. We used to do that. We used to stop and do that thing that Brendan Burchard, that motivational speaker would do.
Yes, like the tapping.
Start at the head.
Yeah. And we need to do that again.
Yeah.
Just to get that blood flow and get a little movement.
But it's so funny because I can always tell when you've just had about enough. Because I can see it in your eyes and you just look at me and just like, oh, she's had enough. She just got here 5 minutes ago.
Like, head's going to explode. But it's weird because like you said, I am weird. And that's the type of stuff I love.
Yeah,
like I just want to work on this project. And
I am so glad you like that because I hate it.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this partnership glorious.
Really, really well. True story. Yep. There's also emotional benefits of exercise.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, reducing the feelings of depression and stress while improving your mood and overall emotional well-being, increasing energy levels, improving sleep, and also just empowering you to feel like you're in more control.
Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Crazy.
Yes. So, once again, walking, bicycling, dancing, yoga, Tai Chi, but find the activity that you enjoy.
Yep.
Yeah. So now we're going to just bump into a few examples of senior citizens still being active. And we have a whole, how many sheets of paper is this of examples of people that are just amazing? And I got to just do a small plug right here for my Uncle John.
Yes.
He has always been so fit and so active and so incredibly awesome. And he actually has done the Olympics for senior citizens.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so there's even that where people they still eat. You can even walk in it, but I think he was running. I mean, he's just one of those guys.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah.
I want to read the story that I picked out of here. And this is, let's see, I think it would be Philomena.
Okay.
Or Philomena Rotundo, 100 years old and still working 11 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
6 days a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's putting people to shame.
And in Buffalo, New York. She
Oh.
works at a laundromat, and to her, that seems perfectly normal. She says, I don't believe in retirement. I believe 65 is too young. If I had retired at 65, what would I have done all these years? I would have gone crazy. I work because I love people. I want to be around people. She works from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday at College Laundry Shop, washing and folding clothes, something she believes keeps her young. That's why you have sick people in the old folks' home, she said. They didn't have enough to do, and their mind deteriorated. Rotundo, who turned 100 in August, has been working for 85 years outside of the time she raised her 2 children with her late husband, who was a bartender. My first job was working at a shoe factory in Annville, Pennsylvania when I was 15 years old, she said. Talk about slave labor. I was making about $10 a week, but I worked my 40 hours and never complained. I was glad to have a job. She was a teenager during the Great Depression, which made a strong impact on her work ethic. She has worked in the Buffalo area for nearly 40 years. You have to grow up during the Depression to know what it's like to have hard times, she said. What are you going to do? You survive. That's what makes you grow up to work hard and make some money. It makes you independent and able to say you made it through the hard times. Rotundo lives 3 doors down from the laundromat and spends her time trying to stay busy. I think being around a lot of people keeps your mind busy, she said. I have to take a walk on Sunday in the afternoon with my dog because I'm not working. I don't spend too much time watching TV except the news. I read the paper every day because you get so much more out of the paper. She also hopes that her stamina at 100 years old can show others the value of the older population. I think they throw old people away and forget about them, she said. Not me. I want to keep working. I think they should keep old people working as long as they can. If old people are working and independent, it makes them feel so much different.
How cute is she? Awesome.
She is adorable.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. 73-year-old Morgan Shepherd made history back in 2012 for becoming the oldest driver in history to compete in a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race.
Oh my gosh.
And he also made history in 2013 for leading 3 laps of the race at the Richmond International Raceway.
Wow. Wow.
That is incredible because when you're driving, you've got to have all things moving, watching for your, can you imagine? And how fast was he going?
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine. I'll read one more. And this is about a New York barber who is the oldest in the world at 107. Anthony Mancinelli is 107 years old. He lives in Hamlet, which is east of Binghamton, and he's in the Guinness Book of World Records. He's a full-time barber working 40 hours a week. He has some advice for being able to live so long, saying, well, I advise a lot of people to not quit working. Keep busy. Mancinelli started cutting hair at the age of 11. Not only is he still working full-time, but he also lives on his own and drives to work every day.
Oh my gosh. Over the hill to these seniors is not the end. It's just the beginning. We'll have to put this in the show notes because it talks about the world's oldest competitive sprinter, 105 years old. This gal is the oldest living female bodybuilder.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these are just really
incredible,
exciting stories. It lifts your heart.
Oh, for sure.
I love it.
It's awesome to see people that just maintain that engagement and Crazy.
Yeah, awesome.
All right. Well, Julie, you want to sign us off with a caregiver or with a grandma saying?
Oh, I do. This is actually written by Robert Browning, who was an English poet and playwright. And he said, "Grow old along with me. The best is yet to be, the last of life for which the first was made."
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Listeners, if you have a grandma saying, if you have a verse you'd like to share with us, an uplifting story, please do that. You can email those to the caregivenpodcast@gmail.com. Please go and subscribe if you haven't yet. You can do that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, really anywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube. Go join our Apagla Care and Share Facebook group.
Yep.
And yeah.
Topics too. I mean, right now, I think this is about like our 70th.
Oh, yes.
70 different topics we've been talking about for
Wow.
over a year now.
Oh, wow.
And we just don't quit finding new things to talk about.
Yes.
But man, if there's a topic that you want us to research and share, we
Yes,
will be
please do.
happy to do that.
Send those in. And
Yes,
on
do
that note,
it.
peace out, Girl Scouts.
Oh my gosh, have a great day.